I love this topic of boundaries so much because it is absolutely life-changing and crucial for us as humans to understand what a healthy fight, flight, or freeze response is. And this totally goes together with boundaries. And let me explain why. If we don't have our boundaries, we go into fight or flight and we get stuck there. I'll expand a little bit more. If we get stuck in fight or flight, now we have all this adrenaline that wants to fight back or flee. That is having a boundary. So a healthy fight or flight response is a healthy boundary, right? So let's take an example. Somebody comes at you with something you don't like. Your healthy fight response might be, no, that doesn't work for me. That didn't feel good. That's not okay. Or a flight response is, you get away. You walk away, you run. If we don't have that boundary, we go into our third survival mode, which is freeze. And when we shut down, all that adrenaline that wants to go in to saying no and walking away and moving on gets stuck. And this is what is leading to so many health issues, overthinking, physical illness, because that stress response is wreaking havoc on our systems. And I just feel like every time in the news, when you hear of a celebrity who's committed suicide, or you hear of somebody that is struggling and taking medications, this isn't talked about. And I just want to bring as much light of awareness and tools because it's life-saving and it's not that complicated. We make it complicated by not doing it. We make it complicated. I'll hear a lot of people say, and I've felt this way too, it is so hard to have a boundary, or it's so hard to say no to a loved one. I reframe it. It is actually not hard. It feels hard. What is harder, let me say it this way, is not doing it. It is harder to live being bullied or abused or being pushed. Here's what we learn as humans. When we say no, when we push through that first big obstacle of what feels hard, then we feel peace and freedom. Then we go, oh my gosh, something that seemed so hard now feels, is it easy or just peaceful or calm? I don't know, but I love this. Let me get better at this. So I love learning how to have my no. And every time it feels hard for me, I push through it to the nth degree. And then I find freedom on the other side of that tunnel, if that makes sense. And then it makes me want to do it more. And that's what growth is, right? So not all of us are born knowing how to have a boundary or have our no. We might have grown up in families where there was boundaries being pushed or manipulation or abuse. So we grow up learning, hey, we take a lot of shit. That's okay. That's a lot of us. I look at people that aren't that way and I go, wow, that's pretty cool. I want more of that. So don't beat yourself up if you don't know how to say no or have boundaries. It is so common and it is so challenging at first. Yes, it does feel hard, but remember, what is harder is to live in unhealthy relationships, to live being around people that don't make you feel better, they make you feel worse. Tell yourself that is what is harder. And start making a declaration to yourself that I am willing to learn boundaries. I'm willing to walk away to protect and love myself more than an abusive person. How about that? Start with that. So let's dig a little bit deeper. I learned that I can't just get it in my mind. I have to get it in my body. So the nervous system, people are working so much with the mind. However, the mind and the nervous system, the body are one, meaning what we feel emotionally in our body, our heart, our solar plexus, bubbles up to the brain. And that's what makes us feel crazy. So you are not crazy. We are not crazy. It's better to say we're traumatized. We need to process. We have a lot to release. There's a lot of better ways to say it. And all it takes is awareness. You just have to want it and become aware of what that programming and patterns are that created you to have a lack of boundaries in the first place, which is I learned denial or to take a lot of crap. And I want to unlearn that. I want to be better. So you could even start with just sensing how that lands in your body. And it's going to be like static at first. When you first start doing this, it's like, oh gosh, it feels very uncomfortable because of something called love attachment. When we have boundaries with somebody we love, it's like electricity and things are breaking apart because you're teaching yourself it is okay to love someone from a distance. I'm not going to lose love if I have my boundaries. I'm going to gain more self-love. It feels like I'm losing this childhood love from a family member or friend or relationship, but that is not the case. If that person doesn't respect your boundaries, the only thing you're losing is their lack of respect. The only thing you're losing is their lack of respect, because that's not love. So you are gaining love for yourself, and then that means you'll attract better love. So really start to reprogram yourself that as I have my no and I have my boundaries, I may go through grief because it feels like I'm losing people I love, but I'm not. The only thing I'm losing are old relationships that don't understand me anymore as I grow. So they either grow with you and respect where you're coming from, or you grow apart and you create new ones. Let that land. It's okay. So I know I just covered a lot in a very quick time, so let's go over that a bit. Having your no, knowing what's okay with you and not, learning that it's okay to walk away and have healthy responses prevents us from going into a shutdown or freeze, because the shutdown or freeze equals overthinking, suicidal thoughts, panic attacks, anxiety. Your body, your soul are not happy when we do this. So make your declaration to yourself that you come first. What do I want to say or do in every instance? And here's the thing. Once you start this journey, those tests and challenges that come in where you need to have your no and have your healthy responses, once you have your healthy responses, they actually start to go away. It's like your soul goes, okay, you've learned this one. We don't need to keep putting it in your face. And then you start to feel this freedom and this peace. There might be some grief because you feel like you're losing love. You're not losing love. I've gone through this. I've been practicing this for 20 years. And what I've really found that I've healed in my heart is that the love always came from me and the divine, God. Every time I thought it came from someone else, for the last 20 years, I've been meditating and pondering this, and it's really starting to land in my body that it all came from the divine, from God. I say God, say whatever word feels good to you, the universe, through that person. And so if that person left my life, the love didn't leave, because the source where it came from, like this golden ball of light in my chest and up above me, is still there. The vehicle has changed that it came through. And I feel so good saying that right now. I feel solid in my body, because for quite a few years, decades, it hurt. It's okay to hurt. It's going to hurt. But the point to remember is that hurt will get less and less as you remember where your source of love comes from. So as you are creating your boundaries and you're feeling like you may be losing love, you're going to reframe it to, I'm not losing anything. I'm only creating more love within myself, which will create more love and people and environments and circumstances around me that support the best version of me. So it might be lonely for a minute. Don't worry. That happens. Yep. And as I healed that wound too of feeling very alone or lonely, alone replaced lonely, I felt more powerful alone than around the wrong people. So that felt really good too. So there's these processes. That's why I wanted to make this video today, or this podcast, is to let people know the cycle you might be going through as you develop your no and your boundaries and change. It hurts, but in a good way. It doesn't hurt like it does if you didn't change and spent your life not honoring your voice and your boundaries and your truth, because a lot of people choose to take that route. So if you're watching this and you're choosing a different route, these are some of the things you will be going through, and it's okay. You're not alone. A lot of us are going through them, and you will start to create a community of more like-minded souls that come in and support your greatest good. So I hope that helps for today. Of course, I'll keep making more and expanding on this. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments or want me to expand on any more of these topics that I went through today.